Ladies, gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Got kind of a weird one for you guys today because we're sort of mixing and matching, picking and choosing. We've got a little bit of Modern Warfare and Warzone because we actually just got some brand new updates there. Then we've also got some Black Ops Cold War stuff to go over, as well as I wanted to share some of the best tips and tricks to apply to your gameplay throughout this weekend for the beta, and then also next weekend too. So as we go over everything today, if you guys enjoy the video at any point, or if you just find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new around here, we are trying to hit 600,000 subscribers before Black Ops Cold War releases. So if you want to stay up to date with basically everything going on in Call of Duty, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. Now, starting first with Modern Warfare and Warzone, we actually got some pretty big news here regarding some new weapon tuning, but there just wasn't nearly enough to make it into its own video, so I figured why not add it into this and make it sort of a mashup style video at the end of the day. Anyways, when it comes to the latest weapon tuning and fixes, Infinity Ward actually put out a patch yesterday that fixed an issue where players could actually survive in the gas while staying on the subway fast travel system. So yeah, no more cheesing out some free wins from that. And then the really big news revolves around the weapons, as on the AS VAL, they actually fixed a bug where the 10-round mags could basically have infinite bullet penetration. So hopefully you had some fun with that while it lasted. The wall hack, the wall bang FMJ out the wazoo rounds have now officially been patched, so that's no longer going to be a major issue in Warzone or multiplayer for that matter. I know SND players are probably very happy to hear that, considering it was extremely popular to use within SND. But then, on top of that, they also adjusted the SPR208, aka the R700, quite a bit as well. As here they actually increased the flinch, they made a minor reduction to the overall ADS speed. On the variable zoom specifically, they actually moved the weapon closer to the player while ADSing, and they reduced the ADS speed even more. And for the Norma mags, and then also the 338 Lapua mags, they actually reduced the bullet velocity, and they reduced the ADS speed even more here too. Also, quickly on the SKS, actually, they ended up reducing the ADS speed for the variable zoom scopes, but obviously, the major changes here are to the R700, as it's no longer going to function as a hit scan sniper with the Lapua rounds, and then also the Norma mags as well. And that's what makes it just so dominant. But that said, I still think the R700 is going to be the best aggressive sniper in the game, probably better than the CAR for fast-paced play, and just worse than, say, the HDR or the AX50 for long-distance sniping. Meaning, I would say it's probably easily going to be one of the best weapons in the game, even after this nerf. Also, Infinity Ward ended up tweeting yesterday as well, saying, "We are aware of an issue where players are able to use infinite tactical items in Warzone. We have a fix that's currently being tested, which we'll release as soon as we can. We'll provide another update when we have more information to share. Thank you for your patience." Now, this is primarily in reference to the stim shot glitch that has basically been taking over Warzone over the past few weeks. And this essentially allows you to get infinite stim shots, and that then allows you to sit inside of the zone forever and just keep healing and healing and healing, and you can essentially just get a free win out of that, which obviously is incredibly stupid. It is a very, very big issue, especially in those higher skill bracket lobbies, so that should be fixed here soon. Unfortunately though, Warzone right now is still in a pretty weird state overall, right? Season 6 just seems to have dropped in a ton of glitches and other bugs, alongside all the new content it brought as well. And yeah, while the R700 and the VAL Nerfs definitely help out, and ultimately the stim shot glitch fix will too, the demon weapon bug is back, where the textures on your weapons when you're spectating just go crazy. This can also happen when you pick up new weapons off the ground later on into the game. That's pretty much detrimental to the gameplay. I've noticed the connection seems very, very laggy, servers keep dropping. There's also a handful of other pretty pressing issues as well that hopefully get sorted out in time for the mid-season update here in a little over a week from now. Now, getting into the Cold War talk, because the beta has been out for a little over a day now, and obviously we've got the crossplay beta next weekend, today I wanted to break down a handful of pretty crucial tips that every player should know when jumping into some gameplay. So, first and foremost here, something that is brand new to multiplayer with Cold War is that of the new ping system, which of course is something we've seen in Warzone for quite some time now. However, within Cold War multiplayer, you can actually use this ping system to your advantage in quite a few different situations, as pressing left on the D-pad is going to mark locations if you're wanting enemies to sort of look in that general direction, you know. This can also be used to mark enemies as well, which is probably the biggest benefit of the entire system, and it can be used to sort of communicate more without actually having to use a mic. So for some basic callouts and just general team coordination, using that ping system can be incredibly beneficial. Now, another thing that I've sort of been learning throughout playing this beta is just how important the movement is when it comes to outplaying your enemies. So basically, because the time to kill in Cold War is a lot longer than it is in, say, MW, that leaves a lot of time to be had in those gunfights, whether they be 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 1-on-2, whatever the situation is. And oftentimes, those gunfights can be kind of tricky, especially if someone is in some sort of precarious position like a head glitch or maybe even a stronger choke point. However, using the slide to your advantage can be incredibly useful, and you can also combine that with your sprint to really move from point to point way faster. And of course, when you're going up and down between sprinting and then also that crouched sliding position, that's going to make you a bit harder to track as well. So using movement combinations can be extremely rewarding from my experience at least. Then another upgrade Cold War got for the alpha was to the gunsmith, as now attachment details are more specific than any other time that we've ever had in Call of Duty history. By going into the attachment menus and looking at the detailed stats, you can see exactly how any given attachment is going to affect your weapon in the long run. From the damage range to the RPM to even how fast you're going to be able to run with that weapon out. The details here are insanely specific, which I would say is a great addition. This is a massive improvement to the gunfight overall, so definitely be sure to use that gunsmith upgrade to your advantage and really build the best possible setup you can. Now, let's also talk about the minimap, as this is something that is a bit different than in Modern Warfare's multiplayer in a handful of ways, all of which I would say are pretty good. So first off, when enemies fire unsuppressed weapons, they are going to show up on the radar as a little red blip. And the UAV pings will show players who are moving and standing still if they don't have Ghost. And then if they do have Ghost, they are still going to show up if they're not moving around. So you can actually get a lot of information straight from the minimap, but one extra detail you should always pay attention to is the little elevation indicator that appears above or below a red dot that tells you whether an enemy is above you, below you, or level with you if there's no arrow whatsoever. And this can be used to prepare for engagements and give you a major upper hand, because obviously you're gonna know right where to look. If the enemy's above you, you know they're probably up in a little ledge or maybe up on a cliff. If they're below you, you know exactly where to get. You've got the high ground. The gunfight's basically over at that point, you know, so using those little arrows can be a massive help as well. Moving on though, I also want to mention one setting that literally every single player should mess around with, and that of course is motion blur. This one is pretty short and sweet. Turn this off immediately, okay? Sure, it may look more cinematic and stylish occasionally, but for crisp gameplay and actually being able to see enemies easily, motion blur is not going to help anything there. It's actually going to hinder you more than anything else, so make sure to turn that one off. I've also got a few tips when it comes to the classes. Initially here, once you unlock it, I believe it's actually pretty early on, use the Stim Shot Tactical. This is by far the best equipment in the game right now because it actually instantly heals you. So for instance, you can get shot in a gunfight, quickly duck behind some cover, stim up, heal fully right away, and then jump back into that fight and take that enemy out. They're not going to know what hit them, and that's going to be that. Then in addition to that, the stim also recharges too, so you can keep on using it, meaning it's going to help you go on more streaks and keep you alive longer, which just so happens to be a pretty nice segue into the next tip here. If you want to increase the pace at which you level up your weapons, you gotta focus on going on streaks, because the XP bonuses there are going to be extraordinarily beneficial. It seems like it takes a very long time to rank up weapons and get those new attachments, but I have noticed that the more I go on streaks with any given weapon, the more weapon XP I'm actually earning in that match. So that's going to be something I focus on more in the future, and coinciding with that, the final tip today is all about playing the objective more, because this is actually going to help you earn even more weapon XP as well. Because whenever you actually end up getting objective kills or EKIAs, that's going to give you a little more score. Nothing crazy, bear in mind, but it is going to be something more than just an ordinary takedown, so it's going to add up over time, and ultimately you can start ranking up weapons a bit faster and unlocking new attachments to use on them too. So yeah, there you have it. That is effectively what's been going on in Warzone and Modern Warfare with the latest nerfs and incoming fixes, and some things to focus on in your Cold War gameplay to make you a better player overall. And that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, or if you just found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new around here and you want to stay up to date with the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, tips, and basically everything else in between, feel free to subscribe as we are on the road to 600,000 subscribers before Cold War releases. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, and Control Freak products. All of those links can be found down in the description below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.